please join me in welcoming Kathleen Burns Kingsbury.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Excellent. Well, I am so honored to be here and be able to talk to the top producers about intergenerational wealth. The fact of the matter is, 70% of families do fail to pass on that wealth to the next generation. And the primary reason for that is not what you may think. Typically, we would think, oh, there were technical problems. Something went wrong with the way the documents were structured or the plan was put in place. Nope. It's because of poor family communication about finance and money and poor preparation of the heirs, of those people who are going to control the wealth tomorrow. And the good news in that is you are in a wonderful position to be able to fill that gap for your clients, to help your clients with that. Because it's really not the next generation's fault if they haven't been properly prepared to both emotionally and financially receive that wealth. Well, the interesting thing about intergenerational wealth conversations is your clients will tell you that they are very good at it. 71% of elders and 68% of boomers report being very confident talking about money with their kids. Now, is that your experience of your clients? No, right? They actually engage much less. 31% of elders, 29% of boomers. The reason being, all boils down to one word. The word is fear. And I think it's a word that we can feel as an advisor. You might feel it when you're thinking about introducing the topic of intergenerational wealth transfers, and you certainly can identify it as a client. There's the fear of talking about money. If you're a native of wealth and you're from an affluent home, that taboo about talking about what you think and feel about money is even greater than if you came from a working class upbringing. There's also the fear that if I talk to my kids about money, they'll become spoiled brats. I often tell people, you know what, if you don't talk about it, you're more likely for them to be spoiled brats. That it's important to have that conversation. A lot of people, when they're getting older, so the wealth creator, fears having this conversation about finances with the next generation or the generation after because he or she fears that they will lose control. Anybody have elderly parents and experience that? The fear of losing control, maybe not just financially? It's a very common human phenomenon. And the other fear, the last fear, that I think both advisors as well as clients have, is the fear of looking stupid, the fear of not knowing how to do this. So what ends up happening is all these fears come into play, and we end up not having these conversations with our clients, and our clients end up not bringing up the fact that they want to have the conversation with you. Our money personalities are formed between 5 and 14. Now, if you are sitting there and you're a parent of a 16-year-old, do not freak out. There is still time, right? But basically, if you can start early and be consistent with your kids, teaching them about money, teaching them about finance, and there's a lot of different resources out there that are available to you, then you not only show that you're interested in the wealth creator, you're interested in his family, her family, and that's going to endear you as a trusted advisor. In fact, when I was preparing for this talk, I told somebody about the next generation in financial training, and she said, my financial advisor gave me a book, Financially Fit Kids, when I first met him. She goes, that was just the greatest thing. That's why I picked him. And I thought, wow, for $14.95, that was a great return on investment. It's just thinking about people's lives and knowing that the next generation is important to them. I'm going to give you a story from my own life, a quick story. My grandmother, Nana Mo, lived to 103, and until about 102 3/4, she lived alone in Cambridge. She was quite a force to be reckoned with. And her entire life, her grandkids and great-grandkids would talk about her bedroom set. Everybody thought Nana Mo's bedroom set was so awesome. And who's going to get Nana Mo's bedroom set when she's gone? I mean, I know that sounds horrible, but I bet you all do that in your families, right? So, Nana Mo passes away. My family, Irish Catholic, touchy-feely that we are, the immediate siblings sit down at the kitchen table right after the funeral and decide we're going to hold a lottery for Nana Mo's possessions, because she just had a basic will. And so we put all the names, or they put all the names, in a bucket of all the grandkids and pulled them out. So you got a number, and then you got to walk through the house, and you got to pick what you wanted of Nana Mo's. I know, crazy. I am the most unlucky person in the world, and I won Nana Mo's lottery. So I didn't feel like a winner, but I marched into her house because I had 40 people or 39 people behind me. And I walked right up to the bedroom set, because whoever wins the bedroom set. I looked at the bedroom set and I thought, geez, you know, as a kid it looked a lot better than it looks now, and doesn't really fit at all with how I decorate. So I walked over to the dresser and I saw these. I saw my Nana Mo's pop beads. I don't know if anybody knows what a pop bead is, but it's fake pearls. They're plastic and they pop. It's that exciting. And I saw this little strand, and I just was so moved. I'm even moved now talking about it, because I used to sit on her lap as a little girl, and I used to pop and unpop these beads and make necklaces and bracelets, and I just loved that experience with my Nana Mo. So that day I walked out of the house, and I didn't get anything other than these. And I carry them with me all the time. There's no price tag for this. Now, when I teach at Bentley University, the biggest thing that happens with my students is they almost obsess about, you know, what's therapy and what's financial advising and where am I going to be in that mix? And so a colleague of mine, Cole Burke, who is a behavioral change specialist as well, developed a very easy system that I'm going to share with you today. It goes from I can help, which is on the easy level of things, to scary. You know those clients, right, where they walk in the door and you go, whoa, they need help. That's usually a mental health issue, okay? So basically what you want to do is determine each time somebody comes in the door, or in general, what are the things that you feel comfortable dealing with? Give you a prime example. You have a couple, they walk in, they're newer to wealth, maybe they're in their 40s, 50s, they have a couple of young kids, and they say, you know, I'm kind of worried about them growing up to be entitled. Easy, I can help. I can give you a book. I can give you a resource. I can spend some time with you talking about how to do that. That's pretty easy for most financial advisors, right? Now, say you have a wealth creator. We'll call him Joe. He's a little grumpy. Walks in and says, hey, you know, my 35-year-old son's a bum. He's been in and out of rehab. He's just diagnosed with bipolar. I'm going to cut him out of the will, and I want you to tell him. Right? That's one of those ones you're like, whoa, that's scary. He needs help. But don't dismiss it. What you want to do is you want to say to him, you know what? That is something that's really important for you to talk about and think about. And I think that I can help you find somebody who's just much better at this than I am. So let me hand you some resources. And that's where you make sure you have resources for family therapists, family consultants. And often we're afraid to give those referrals, but you know, if his son has been in and out of rehab and he's bipolar, it's not going to be new information for him. The hard part is the middle of the road, right? I used to be in financial services. I used to work for the FDIC way back when, don't hold it against me. And I find black and white easier to live in. And we're in the gray, right? With practice, I could help is really gray. But this is where the benefit is to your clients. Thinking about those situations where it's a little outside your comfort zone, but it can be a real big value add to them. And you can develop that muscle and that skill. An example might be you work with a woman, she's a wealth creator, she is entering her second marriage, and she has kids from her first marriage. Her new husband has kids as well, so there's going to be a step-kid situation. And you have to figure out, or your client wants help figuring out, how do I do this in a fair way? How do we restructure things so the stepkids are able to feel part of the family, not only emotionally, but financially? And they turn to you around the financial stuff. Now, that may be something you've done before, and it's in the easy category, or it could be in the, geez, it's a little complicated, but I'll take it on. I'll help this client figure that out. And you don't have to be perfect in the process. Often clients just want somebody along there with them trying to figure it out. So determine your comfort zone. And my one request, my one call for action is push yourself a little outside what you're comfortable with. Not so outside that you're in the they need help, but just a little bit, because that's what your clients need. They need you to offer these services. They need help having these conversations, and they want you to do it.